It's time to turn your restless nights into restful slumber without reaching for medication. If you're struggling with insomnia, the solution might just be in nature's own sleep aids. In this video, I'll share effective natural remedies along with alternative therapies that can revolutionize your sleep patterns and address the underlying causes of insomnia. Applying these solutions can help restore the deep, refreshing sleep you deserve and depend on for health and well-being. And if you're new here, I'm Dr. Gayla Gorman, a licensed acupuncturist, naturopath, and author of What's Your Kryptonite? On this channel, I'm here to help you reverse the effects of chronic stress so that you can cruise through midlife and beyond symptom-free, so that you can put an end to insomnia and the unwanted results like chronic fatigue, mood swings, and even weight gain. So some of the most common natural remedies to treat insomnia are melatonin and herbs like valerian and chamomile. But I just want to caution you as you start looking at these natural remedies as essentially alternatives to medication, and know that you are still medicating with these natural substances. Melatonin, for example, is a hormone. And so you are essentially using hormone replacement therapy. And if you become dependent on this hormone replacement therapy, it creates a weakened system over time. I really encourage you that if you want to turn to melatonin to improve your sleep, you do it mindfully and not long-term, like every night. So for example, if you find that you're going through a period of time where you're having trouble falling to sleep, that falling to sleep process is dependent on your melatonin kind of kicking in. And so if you've tried all the lifestyle adjustments that would be suggested to improve your sleep and in particular your body's ability to fall asleep, then if you turn to melatonin for a few nights just to kind of maybe top off your stores, or I like to think of it as rebooting the system with just a little reminder of what's missing. What you want to do is reboot, give it a reminder, and then back off and let your body figure out how to make it on its own, which is what it's designed to do. And then there's herbs like valerian and chamomile, and I'm less concerned about chamomile. Chamomile should be a pretty mild herb, and honestly, you're not going to really ingest chamomile. You're going to just have chamomile in tea, so it would not be likely that you would have too much chamomile. But valerian is another one of those powerful natural remedies that really can help with sleep, but it's also something that is interfering with your body's natural abilities to drift off to sleep and stay asleep. So we want to make sure that we are using valerian mindfully as well. And again, you want to make sure that you're doing all the right things and really being mindful in those hours leading up to sleep that you have ticked all the boxes. I've talked about this more in another video in this series on insomnia, and so you can look at that video if you'd like to know more about what I suggest you do as you're preparing for sleep. Another thing that's thought to be a natural remedy, but it's also going to interfere with your body's natural process that should be happening for sleep, is tryptophan. Tryptophan is a precursor to serotonin, and if you try tryptophan and find that it actually works, then just know that you probably have an issue with your gut health. All of these neurotransmitters, what I refer to as the happy brain chemicals, those are really critical for sleep and honestly all other functions that we would tie to an overall sense of well-being. But they do tend to start in the gut. There's a gut brain and a head brain. And the way I put it is that if your gut brain's not healthy, your head brain is not going to work very well either. So that's really important to just use that as a sign that you need to improve your gut health so that all of these neurotransmitters are being produced the way they're supposed to be. There are a few alternative treatments for insomnia as well, and one of those is cognitive behavioral therapy. So if you're one of those people who's having difficulty sleeping and you find your thoughts just racing, you're having a really difficult time just winding down and shutting down your mind, then CBT could really help you learn how to manage those thoughts better. If you don't feel like it's gotten quite to that point, or you want to try something at home, then just using simple mindfulness techniques can be really helpful. That includes meditation, maybe journaling. Journaling is a really powerful way to just dump all those crazy thoughts out onto a page. Essentially, you're processing it yourself. Super helpful and powerful process. Another alternative therapy, which might sound a little self-serving, is acupuncture. Just know that I mostly help people that don't come into my clinic. And if you don't come into my clinic, then there's no way I can stick a needle in you. But if you have access to acupuncture, then just know that this could be something that would be really helpful for you to kind of restore your body's natural process for energy management. You might be surprised to know that energy is actually required to sleep. To sort of kick off all these processes requires energy and requires your internal signaling to be working properly. Acupuncture is really helpful, and this is just one of the ways that jump-starting your energy production improves your overall health and well-being. Just know that stress disturbs sleep, and sleep disturbance causes stress. It's a vicious cycle that you need to break. This is an example of one of the countless ways stress creates symptoms and other health issues, especially during midlife. I created a video that shows you how to eliminate these symptoms naturally, so I'll tell you more about that later in this video, but make sure you hit subscribe too, because I share a lot of tips when it comes to dealing with stress that's become toxic. Relieving the nasty symptoms stress creates makes cruising through midlife a breeze. Most importantly, what I want you to take from this video is that you really need to treat the root cause of insomnia. So any of these natural remedies might bring you some relief in the short term, and they actually might buy you some time to figure out what's really at the root of the problem. But I want you to use these remedies only short term and just to buy you some time to pinpoint the triggers that are actually causing you to have a night where sleep doesn't happen really naturally. One of the things for me, I'm really sensitive to caffeine. And on the weekends, I find that I drink caffeine a little later in the day. And then, no surprise, come Sunday night, I have a really hard time falling asleep. And so, that's just such a great reminder to try to hold your same schedule and not cheat too much, even on the weekends or, even when you're on vacation. Honestly, you might get away with it easier when you're on vacation because the other stressors in our life tend to be lower when we're outside of our stressful day-to-day environment, and that kind of frees up some energy to allow your body to deal with some of these other stressors that we might be introducing that maybe our body doesn't have to deal with on a regular basis. So I evaluate 12 categories of toxicity, and one of those categories is what I refer to as geopathic stress. So EMF is part of what is considered geopathic stress, and it's rarely even considered, but it can really be the thing that actually is causing some major disruption. I've heard countless stories of people that had onset of insomnia and really tried everything to resolve it, only to find that a smart meter was installed on their house. They really don't even have to tell you if they installed it, and that just really the energy emitting from that smart meter was enough to kind of keep their brain really fired up all night long. So taking into consideration all 12 categories is really important, but if you find that you just are feeling wired at night and there's no explanation for it, EMF and these geopathic stressors should really be looked at. And then just know that you need to recharge your human battery and honor your circadian rhythms. Our body is hardwired to sleep between 11 p.m. and 5 a.m. And if your life and lifestyle force you to do something different, you're going to have to do a lot of positive things to offset the damage that's creating. But if it's within your control, you need to honor that 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. sleep window. 11 p.m. to 1 a.m. is the most important time that you should be soundly sleeping. One of the easiest ways to kind of get your human battery charged up so that your body has the energy it needs to be able to manage the sleeping process is movement. So getting outside and moving outside in the sunshine, in the daylight, helps to reset your circadian rhythms, helps to recharge your human battery, and goes a long way to improving your sleep. I realize that it doesn't make sense that spending time outside would help you sleep better, but trust me, give it a try. It definitely will. And if your best efforts to live a healthy lifestyle and do all the things you've been led to think are supposed to work aren't getting the job done, you may even be feeling like you take 2 steps forward and 3 back. In my next video, I'll show you how to manage the toxic stress that's sabotaging your efforts. You can eliminate the symptoms that seem to be piling up in midlife naturally without medication, crazy diets, intense exercise, or any other unsustainable lifestyle hack.